Welcome to the Cyber AI Chronicles podcast presented by Digital Edge, where strategy meets security and trust empowers growth. My name is Stacey Jennifer, and I'm your host for today's episode.
Hi guys, this is our second episode, and we call it Cybersecurity One-on-One, the scary side. And welcome back, our guests. And now they all look really scary because it's Halloween. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Again, for those of you who don't know who we are, my name's Annette Fontana, and I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at IndependTech, a managed service provider. And the gentleman in the mask, speak now.
Is Guy Fawkes. That's all you need to know.
And when I saw these guys, the only thing that I could find in my office is this.
It's called improvisation.
It's called improvisation. But seriously, the guy in the mask is John Rodriguez, my CEO, managing director, and partner. And today we're here to talk to you about what's going on in the shadows of cybersecurity, where the threats are and how real they are, and what chilling stakes are out there. So this is basically our telling of the Cybersecurity 101 tales. And for the sake of the season, because it is spooky season, we went for the scary side. Think of it kind of like a haunted continuation of our last episode, and where we wrapped up on endpoint management. We're going to focus a lot about that too. Only this time, we're turning off the lights and showing you what lurks in the dark corners of the network. No, we're not doing that. So we're going to pause right now so John and I can get out of these get-ups and talk to you in real time. So, John, let's talk about the monsters at Endpoint. And just for anybody who needs to know what the endpoints are.
The endpoints, we'll define them really as the last piece of technology that the humans interact with. That's really at that edge, right, between the wetware, the humans, and then the hardware. For the sake of like computing and the stuff that really matters, we're talking about computers themselves, mobile devices. You could throw in there, printers and other kind of like smart devices. Anything that is that has compute power to it and is connected, but humans interact with it directly. That's what we refer to generally as endpoints, and they are frightening in their own way, not just because of their complexity in and of itself, but the fact that people are doing stuff with them, and mistakes can happen like that quite easily.
Absolutely. Every unsecured endpoint, and since we're going to try to stick with the theme, is kind of like leaving that door open in a haunted house. You're not sure what's creeping in there, and you're not sure what you're walking into, but something scary is there.
Yeah, it just occurred to me, the whole thing of, is it vampires, right? That you have to welcome them in.
Yes.
In order for them to come into the house. So, hey, there's the first analogy of the day, right? We'll go with that one. So
my definition of endpoint is something that has CPU, memory, and an IP address, and it could be your fridge.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be your Alexa. It could be your Ring doorbell. It could be your lock if it is connected to your local Wi-Fi. Is very much hackable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, usually where I jump into the and it is true in the context of your like enterprise and maybe like larger business type of environments, even servers, right, are endpoints. Mm-hmm. Most of the time when we're discussing this kind of stuff with the general public, servers and application servers, databases, and that kind of stuff is not really part of their consciousness. It's not what the end user interacts with. So yes, it strictly speaking, the definition that you shared there is correct, right? It's anything on a network. Could be considered or is considered an endpoint. for the purposes usually of training and this kind of exposition. I like to put it in a human context, oddly enough.
Yeah, really oddly enough for you. We like to talk about how John is the tech side and I'm the human side. So when he starts to talk humanity, I get a little nervous.
Well, it is
But
spooky season, so
it is spooky season, exactly.
Oh, now we all, even like Alexas of the world and ChatGPT has humanity in it, so the border is getting slowly fading.
Exactly. I mean, it's all shadow IT. Any unauthorized app or device that can act like a ghost, and we're going to keep that analogy going, it's haunting the infrastructure of whatever it is, because there's over 70% of breaches that are originating from those endpoints. I mean, that's not just spooky, that's terrifying.
But I don't know if our listeners know about it, but most DDoS attacks are organized. Like people think that these guys are, buying this infrastructure to put DDoS, and DDoS is something where lots of imaginary computers request some information from one website, and those things that generate that traffic. So you need thousands or millions, let's say, desktops to generate that traffic. So normally it's not a desktop that generates that traffic. Usually people hack something like cameras, for example. The cameras they totally like IP devices, and if you may notice, you patch your laptop every once in a while, but you never patch your camera. Like, the guy came, set it up, and that's it. You have an app, but it's totally IP device. Now, all this firmware, they like published, and let's say this is your, I don't know, whomever camera, some Chinese, whatever. They are running a software, and they are running something like Linux, like stripped off Linux,
Right.
very like small version that is totally hackable. So what these guys are doing, they're actually hacking those devices, and when and are capable to tell them what to do. And then at one point they tell, okay, this is a website, I don't know, Amazon.com, whomever.
Yeah.
All the cameras start sending ping flood to that IP address. So it's not actually endpoint devices as we speak, laptops pushing this traffic. It's all these IoTs. It could be your watch that is flooding. So today it's crazy. Like again, if it has CPU and memory and IP address, that's it. It could be used as a weapon.
And that's a great point, Michael, because one of the things that we talk about, we like to reference past events. Anybody who was around in 2017 knows the WannaCry attack, where they basically took outdated systems and found the ones that weren't being consistently updated and exploited it. And the violations, the crashes, the compromises, well, they spread like wildfire. It's really the phantom threats you can't see.
Yeah,
And
both of those examples are very much the phantom thing. It got me thinking, like as you were saying, phantom doesn't necessarily mean that it's invisible,
right.
because it's the difference between seeing something and perceiving it, right? Like you said, any consumer, whatever, can go and put up their camera systems in their home. Once it's there, they just get used to it and forget about it. So
Exactly.
that's the ghostly part, right? It's there, it exists, but people just don't even see it anymore because it's been there for so long. And then they get neglected, and then they get exposed just out of sheer neglect, right? Because they're not updated and patched and so on.
Keeping with the theme.
The phantom threat, right? That you can't see, or that you don't see, as it were.
Keeping with the theme, we'll use this one. Those types of threats obviously don't just come from outside. Sometimes that call is coming from inside the house.
I love that reference.
John, I was waiting for John to actually say that first. So the fact that I was able to say it, I was happy about. But I mean, there are advanced personal threats they're otherwise known as APTs. You
persistent
think of
threats.
them as right. I'm sorry, persistent threats. You think of them as like ghosts, like poltergeists. They sneak in, they stay quiet, and they just cause chaos over and over time.
So they're
It,
advanced poltergeist threats.
yeah, I mean it's like the SolarWinds breach or the Capital One breach, where what was that back in 2019? John, you were mentioning to me the other week. Former AWS employee exploited misconfigured cloud settings, and they were able to steal over 100 million records.
It was actually a very cool exploit.
Yeah, it was,
Really
and it
cool.
was seamless. It was it was movie quality,
But I think she got caught because of showing off on Twitter.
Yeah, I
something
think she
like that.
published it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she used security context of I think web server or something to get propagation. I remember I read that case. You really need to know, configuration and all like deep AWS settings because she hit the web server, as I remember, and she was using the security context that web server was running under a certain account, and that account has privileges to S3 buckets. And she
Yeah,
basically, use these credentials to direct that thing to expose the data, and she sucked up all the content of this S3 bucket.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
It
again, the insider threat is among the scariest, quite honestly, of threats, because it's at what point, how do you strike the balance between trusting your people, the people that you're hiring to do the thing that you can do, speaking, as in the persona of a business owner, a manager, what have you. You got to trust your admins to do admin things, and yet at the same time.
I was hoping we're just gonna stick to to normal things, but today whatever we're talking about is even more uh worrisome
frightening.
because look, the whole culture is to okay, let's do crowdsourcing and let's crowdsource sysadmin. That would be just what he's doing, he's onboarding my employees and terminating my employees and M365. But you don't know who this guy is, and there is so much spying going on today, and you could easily hire a hacker. And and we have cases when people so I'll tell you a very quick one. We detected on our SIEM, our security operations center detects an alert that developer downloaded the whole repository, zipped and downloaded the repository. Instead of like checking in code, checking out, he grabbed everything. So we started kind of like looking. He was like a new guy. And in US we have background check, you give social security, you give driver's license. And apparently he passed through the whole like security check and everything. And it turned to be later that he was used stolen social security and driver's license. Nobody saw this guy in person, but you could totally impersonate anyone today or whomever identities you have. And only then we started like doing like research, like simple online search. The guy was like the same face using different names, and you kind of can guess. We don't even know who this guy is. And also he was coming from like big proxy VPNs, so that was another kind of alert. So we don't know who he was. He disappeared. Luckily, he didn't get the client information, but he basically stole the code. But the lesson is like, and for us, we never hire someone. And today is a trend to go where the talent is, and we're all looking for inexpensive talent or more affordable talent or like hugely talented people. But our rule, if this guy is not where we can come and meet him,
Yep.
and a few times we just reject doing it. So we have
Completely
our
agree.
employees spread like across the world. But if we cannot travel or meet him in person,
Yeah,
It's
something that
really scary today.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
really scary.
Something I like to say with with clients as we were having conversations, even pre or even just kind of during in general, is we don't. Yes, we happen to work on tech stuff. We happen to work on training. We work on security. That's the work that we do. But what we're actually selling here is actually trust. We're in the
Right.
business of trust.
Yep.
Again, it happens to be that we're using that trust to do technical stuff. But trust is the most precious commodity nowadays. Let's not even get started on generative systems now and synthetic identities, stuff like that. That's a whole other thing that we don't want to get into.
It's a whole
but
level of fear unlocked.
yeah, but trust is the rarest actually commodity, and that is what we sell. I like to put it that way.
Yeah.
So, identifiable identity, because identity becomes so weird today.
Yeah, we're completely
How you
agree.
identify this?
Yeah, and as you described, having to the amount of effort that has to go into verifying that identity. I'm about to see if I can segue this into the next heading there. To have to essentially do a full, at least OSINT, open source intelligence search on every single employee.
Mhm.
Woof, right? It's tiring,
Yes, it
and
is.
we're all human. That's the scary me saying the scary part again.
Good Lord.
And we will suffer from, my turn, is the curse of complacency, where
Right.
it's good enough, right? The past background checks, they worked well enough then. The world has changed a lot in 3 years, 5 years, and we businesses, we businesses, I guess, just we we humans on Earth, running again, running our businesses, running our environments. We can't be complacent with what's worked in the past and expect that it is going to continue being as effective on the present and future. So we got to keep evolving with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it is, and I'm going to say this here. Decades I have spent helping businesses recover from fallout from cyber incidences. Sometimes it's a small fallout, sometimes it's a big one, but either way, their lives are shaken. And I have heard it. I know John has heard it. Mike, I'm sure you have heard it. It won't happen to us. It's never going to happen to us. We're small. Those are the ones that are targeted. I mean, I can't stop thinking about some stat that I found for this session. $4.88 million per breach. That is an average global cost. Healthcare alone is 9.77 million, and finance, where we have hailed from, 6.08 million each year globally. Now, that's not just a stat, that's a freaking wake-up call. And
Big numbers.
it's
Big
big
industry.
numbers, big industries. And those big industries aren't just the conglomerates that are getting hit. More often than not, they are the small independent businesses or the small operations. When I say small, I say anything less than 100 people that are being impacted. They're the ones that are paying because they were not given the tools. And more importantly, they have not been getting that enterprise type level support that we provide.
Yeah,
by
big enterprise, I meant
kind of
the
disagree
bad
with you,
guys.
because it's not about big guys. It's about like simple hygiene, and someone will buy latest and greatest, highly advertised new shiny toolie, and they will miss something, and someone will be using free Microsoft Defender, updated, behaving properly, and they would be saved. So I'm not saying what I want to say. It's not about like great enterprise tools and you need to spend budgets. You need to be conscious of that. And
Well, that continues into a point that I think John and I both agree on, that the mindset is, and we're going to get back into that horror theme, that scary moment. Think about creaky floorboards in a horror movie. You know something's wrong, but you don't act until it's too late. The truth is that cybersecurity isn't a luxury. It's a basic business investment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
probably the most, and the cost of doing nothing is more expensive than investing in it.
right,
So
right,
so
exactly.
that's where we get, and it talks about everything. Unpatched systems, outdated software, lack of training. These are the curses that leave any organization, no matter how big or small, vulnerable. And phishing, God, that's like opening up the cursed book of black magic spells. One click and the nightmare begins.
It's opening
Yeah.
the
And
Necronomicon.
with large enterprises, we have like champions, like one guy would be like clicking all, and you come to him and tell him, and you're like, oh yeah, I understand. And then it's usually like, oh, not on the technology side, it's somewhere like like in financial industry, one like guy who has like lots of you know
Impulse
uh
control problems.
Impulse. Oh God, we have experienced that. We actually had to have, when we worked together, an escalation process, because there were those same 3 or 4 people who, no matter what, you knew, like everybody else was so like trained and involved. These guys would be like, oh, $50 off of Amazon, let's do this.
I think the whole phishing testing industry is powered by a few guys in the industry.
I'm telling you.
1% of users.
Yeah.
I used to.
And it's truly a combination of all of it, right? I'm pretty sure I said it last time. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Is the safest car with the poor driver is still a hazard on the road. That I couldn't turn that into the spooky theme. Sorry.
Yeah, come on, man. She's
But
here to
so
product.
you have to have both, right? To have as you said, Mike, to put in a fantastic system that is improperly managed, undermanaged, poorly understood. There's no pill, to solve this. It has to be treated holistically. That's our mantra.
My version of his analogy goes to food, obviously, and it is a gourmet meal. Every dish that you could possibly think of available to you, and somebody serves it on a trash can lid.
You pay extra for that.
And you pay, some restaurants you do.
Yeah.
But it just goes that, with everything out there, defense is the big thing. So we can talk about now, here's all the scary stuff. Now, what do we do about it? So keeping with theme, we have our own cyber protection spells and wards and, magic wands that maybe not help all the demons, but we can put them at bay.
Yeah.
And give you time to save the the hero that's, about to get consumed by the demon, so to speak.
Feels like we're going into a supernatural episode here. That's just natural.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you speak for yourself, man.
Pouring salt in there. But yeah, and that's where it comes down to is usage, education. The line there was, education as the light in the darkness. And that was your line, which I like.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, as scary and spooky as everything that's out there is, and there's a lot of ways to screw up. There's relatively few well taken lessons, right?
Right.
Take a breath, just slow down, and was it think before you click is what we picked up at some point.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites.
Yep. Adding MFA, adopting password management skills. There's a lot of stuff that individuals can do, and it helps personally and professionally.
Right.
That removes the fear. That's what we're going for.
Things like that, coupled with security awareness training, which is one of my favorite things to do. it's kind of like coaching so they can spot the demon in the room floating around in the ether. Not everybody else is going to see it, but you're going to be aware of it and not fall for the tricks. And tools like, yeah, very, very,
yeah, pull the mask off.
Yeah, exactly. Pull the mask off, and there's the old man at the lighthouse. But things like that, plus multi-factor authentication, which we talk blue in the face about, and the password management systems. I'm going to step on your line, John. They're the garlic against the credential vampires.
I like those lines.
And even if they get past one layer, the more layers you have, they're not going to be able to sink their teeth into the jugular. And just to throw it a little bit extra in there, I always tell people when I first started in this world, my one-day job was information security. My other job was business continuity and disaster recovery. Those things help too. Those types of escape plans for worst-case scenarios are great to have in place, because once they are, that one zombie apocalypse hits, you're going to be able to secure your stuff while the other people are out there with the shotguns blowing the heads off.
Yeah,
God, this is taking a really dark turn.
I want to give like one actionable advice about, like, again, when you hire someone and you cannot meet, like how to check. Like, you need to cross-reference certain facts in the resume and in the profile of a person. So sometimes we take like a phone number, for example, and see if there are other resumes that are connected to this phone number, because they usually get somehow access to the SIM card to this phone. And usually you could see that in some cases the same phone number showed up in like multiple resumes of like totally different kind of like occupation. You need to try to take a person name and like more information in there and see if there are multiple faces in even like like Google search in the images. So something, I'm just saying, like, if you got it through LinkedIn, for example, someone applied from LinkedIn, like, there are organizations that setting up credible profiles and relatively shortly, in a short period of time. And people are falling for those startup profiles, and at least what they can do is you hire him, you pay salary, and he disappears and don't deliver anything to you or pretend that he's delivering. And I know complaints about that. Freelancers, we see that it's more and more when a person getting 50% and never comes back. And it's the whole like network of guys that are trying to milk a little bit here, a little bit there, and again, just cross-reference. If it is on LinkedIn, try to check him like in any industry, in any, not in one platform. Something will stick out, and I really like. If there is a doubt, then there is no doubt. Like, trust yourself. Like, if you feel that there is something doesn't sound good, doesn't smell good, doesn't pass the smell check, just don't do it. Don't go there. There are other. So yeah, that's my kind of like hopefully practical advice.
I agree.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that, and I'm glad you're mentioning that. Thorough research and education are those flashlights in the dark. That's how you're helping businesses. That's how we help our businesses, our nonprofits, and our schools stay safe in general. Education is the key. One of the things is, and forgive me for spouting out our own world, our Cybersecurity 101 program. We broke it down, we made it practical, and more importantly, we kept it real. One of the cardinal rules of information security: always be paranoid. So research, education, training, reminding ourselves of what we need to do, that is a big key, because we're going to be the ones that as a service to our clients, going to, and again, scary theme, turning on the lights in that haunted house tour to show you that it's all smoke and mirrors, that they're just trying to trick you. And this is how they do it. Back to what John talked about earlier with Scooby-Doo and the gang pulling off the mask of the demon only to find out that it's the old man in the lighthouse.
Yeah, a lot of smoke and mirrors, and they need your help, right, to get past.
Right.
And when you see the damage these hacking groups are making, and then when they are arrested, we call them script kiddies. They're like, they like not even like students in college. They're like kids, and they don't create those rules. I mean, tools. They just buy it, they use it, and it's script kiddies. But they can do lots of image. But if you can reach out to that mask and remove it will be laughable. But again, they can do a lot of damage. And as you said, to put light on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's what, and because we've all being in the profession have seen the scary side. We know how this can obliterate an operation. A small operation, a large operation, it literally is, D-Day. And these people have to, figure it out. But that's why we're here. That's why you're here. We're here to help other people face it, and we're here to share, to teach, and to protect.
Illuminated flashlight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Cybersecurity doesn't have to be terrifying if you're prepared.
That's right.
Audit the endpoints, educate yourself and your team. Don't ignore the signs, and just remember.
In doubt, don't click. When in doubt,
please don't click.
When in doubt, don't. That's what that whole take a breath is. It's just when in doubt. And you said it as well, Mike, is trust your instinct. If it's not if it's not a enthusiastic yes, then don't.
Then don't.
Yeah.
And please, for those of you who will want to talk to your IT team, forward whatever you're questioning as an attachment in a clean email.
That helps.
Because if it's a virus, you're spreading it if you just forward.
Right.
That's an insider tip.
Yeah, I think even like it could be a good video to explain to people how to use different mail system, how to attach email properly for the analysis, because people taking pictures of it, people forwarding them, people you need to preserve envelope and how you do it.
Hey, listen, Mike, I don't know if you're pitching us another podcast, but I'm down for this.
I got like 3 or 4 ideas in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, really.
Right.
So I think we've pretty much covered the scary side. Just everybody, please remember, just because you can't see a threat doesn't mean that it's not out there. And that's what, go ahead.
And remember to check your candy before you eat it. That's very, very good.
Oh, good Lord.
We're not here to add to the noise. We're here to help you lead with clarity, security, and confidence. Thank you for listening, and subscribe to catch up on all of our future episodes.